What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks here, presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't already checked it out yet, you're just making bad life choices. Go on over to scoresandodds.com. Get it signed up there. We got picks from me, from Daniel Chevelson, from Meansy, from everyone, plus this nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what RG projections have for each individual statistical category. You have where the best line is on the over and where the best line is on the under. So it's worth it just because of that. So go get signed up. And yeah, it's that simple. Just go get signed up. You also get access to Grant's Action Lounge where I will be throwing in all the bets from the show, all the bets that I'm betting every single day. Basically just spitting free money in there. It is going premium on Monday. So get signed up for that Scores and Odds premium and get on in there. I am joined by, some would say, my friend Daniel Chevelson. How you doing there, Daniel?
What's going on, dude? It's Friday, man. It's been a it's been a rough week for me DFS wise. I know it's not a DFS show, but man, I've stumbled out of the gates for baseball. That's just how baseball goes, sometimes, and you're looking for that one big hit. But it's been a rough week for your boy, DFS wise in the DFS streets. How has gambling been treating you?
Not great, not great. Strange enough, it's mostly been basketball that's gone poorly this week. I think I'm up a little bit in terms of baseball. I don't know, this sheet is not working correctly, but yeah, baseball's gone pretty darn well so far. Like I've hit a lot of plus 200, plus 265, like alternate run lines. So it's pretty solid so far.
I love those. Are fun. I those are definitely fun to do. Like especially if you you ladder it, you can have yourself a good time if one of your team crushes. 11-game baseball slate, basketball games tonight. The Paul George, that's obviously awful for him for the Clippers, and not being able to play tonight. NBA playoffs starting for real, very very soon. It's fun to have to be a sports fan.
Yeah, times are good. I think I'm going to a movie tonight. Going to see the new Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
What is it?
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Is that a sequel to Fantastic Beasts?
Yes, it's the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, I think, was the original one. This is the Dumbledore one. So,
is this in the Harry Potter world?
Yes.
I saw Harry Potter for the first time ever, like a month ago, because you forced me to do so, and that's how I got your Dumbledore reference.
Yeah, look at you smarty pants, you. Yeah, no, I finally can leave the house. It's been over 10 days. Well, it's been almost 2 weeks since I got the Kofifi,
Your voice sounds a lot better. Like I talked to you earlier in the week, and you've been powering through, and the people I'm sure appreciate that. But you sound like this is like full Grant. I think you're back. I hope you're back.
Yeah, no, pretty much. And yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I missed one show the entire time I had COVID, and strangely enough, that was actually because not because of COVID. It was because my internet was being worked on at that time. So I'm like, I got COVID. I don't care. Ooh, man. Carlos Rodon over 7.5 strikeouts. What do you think about that? I think I'm about to hit that.
I like Rodon tonight. That's kind of a big number. His strikeout, he looked awesome his first start. I think he had 12 strikeouts in his first start. I do have my my stuff from last year too, and his strikeouts last year were awesome as well. 137 innings, obviously not a huge sample, but that sample almost 36% strikeouts. There, obviously some issues of arm troubles over the years, but I think he's pretty solid. That number is a little bit high considering this time of year, but I think he threw, just double checking, I think he threw a fair bit of pitches his first start, like a lot of these guys, first start through shortened spring training and all that. The pitch counts were limited. Yeah, they let him go 89. That's right. Okay, 89. I knew that was the case.
Yeah. So he's pretty close to full go because they didn't give him a huge lease last year.
Yeah. I think that's okay. I'm pulling. We don't Cleveland starting lineup yet, right?
No, we don't. But I mean, I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it good. Yeah. Well,
I don't mind it.
We can go ahead and break right into things and check it out right now. I mean, let's see where you at. San Francisco no longer plays for the White Sox. Yeah, 35% K rate. Not a huge sample size on a lot of these guys, but below average strikeout team realistically. But really doesn't matter with a guy like Rodon with a 35% K rate, strikes out righties, strikes out lefties, does not matter. 7.5 is a big number, but I just don't care. And another bet I'm looking at that I wanted to get your input on before I bet it. Where was it? It was.
What were you looking at?
Line might have moved. It was Minnesota run line. I think it moved. Cleveland -1 is not looking like
Joe Ryan versus Pavetta, Minnesota. It's basically a coin toss.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and start.
I did not look at that game for the record. I've been digging into the main slate stuff, so I didn't know.
Ironically, that's where I have 2 bets in, so we'll just get right into it. I got John Ryan under 4.5 strikeouts. Why is that 4.5 strikeouts? I don't know. John Ryan's not good. Like,
what about Joe Ryan?
John Ryan. Who's John Ryan? John Ryan is someone.
I don't know if John Ryan, I'm sure exists.
John Ryan's a punter.
He's a carpenter.
He's the Seattle punter.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's why I thought that. But like, yes, there's a few strikeouts in the Boston lineup towards the bottom, but it's not a terribly high strikeout lineup. Joe Ryan's not very good. He went 71 pitches in his first one. He's horrible at striking out lefties, and there's 3 of them in this lineup. I was hoping there'd be a 4th, but yeah, like 4.5, and I think I'm getting it plus odds on the under plus 120. Like, it's pretty much a coin flip on whether he's going to strike out 4.5.
Yeah, I mean, JBJ in the lineup's not good for you, but he's kind of buried at the bottom. You know, he's a defender essentially these days. And Dahlbeck, is sort of that all or nothing boom bust guy, so you don't really like to see him in there, but he's kind of buried again. You probably only see him twice. Ryan's probably not going to get there the third time around, but yeah, that's fine. I don't have a strong take on it.
Yeah, and then Pavetta on the other side, I think I have the over of 5.5 strikeouts. I got that at plus 140 odds. Seems pretty big. I mean, he's a solid enough strikeout guy. I think he went 81 pitches in his first matchup. And looking at the bottom of this lineup is what sells me. I mean, you got Sanchez, 30% K rate. Larnach, 31%. Sano, 38%. Jeffers, 37%. And then Buxton up at the top with 25%. Arya is never a guy I want to see in the lineup, but
Arise is very annoying. Yeah, he's a pest. If you're betting over on strikeouts, he's very annoying. You do not want to see him. He's like I'm trying like Eric Sogard used to be, like that kind of guy.
Yeah, the weirdest one was going up against Minnesota last year. I'd always have to wait for the lineup because if Arias and Studio were both in the lineup, then that's like just taking away strikeouts. Like I would wait for the lineup. Yeah, I'd wait for the lineup. And if those 2 were in it, immediately bet the under. If those 2 were out of it, immediately bet the over. It was that much of a difference.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Williams' Studio, La Tortuga, like that dude just he would put the ball in play, and he wouldn't walk either. Like the ball would be put in play somewhere.
Yeah, no, just that dude, like
wild.
Yeah, it's never the doesn't even have a chance to call a strikeout or a walk.
He's not necessary.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know if he's played much for the Marlins this year. I know he was in the team at some point, but he may have got himself a start. I might have missed it. I can assure you this: if he does play for the Marlins, he'll bat in front of Jazz Chisholm. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, everyone does, but yeah, you Pavetta, solid one. Dylan Cease under 6.5 strikeouts. You can get at -1 or plus 115 over at MGM. Stupid MGM wouldn't let me put much money on it.
I like Cease. Why don't you like Cease?
6.5 is just a big number. I don't think they're going to let me. What do you go in the first one? 65 pitches.
I had his projected total at 88, according to the bat for Cardi as far as pitch count, which is not a huge number. It's not a bad number, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I just think it's a little bit high. I mean, yes, there are some strikeouts in this lineup. There are also some low strikeout bats. They know how to work a count, and the big thing with Cease is he tends to get a little bit wild, so his pitch count can get up there with his 10% walk rate. So that's kind of why I'm on his under. I mean, what did he end up? He did pretty well on the last outing. I'm pulling up his numbers right now. Went 79 pitches and 8 Ks. That was against Detroit, though. I just think it's a little bit too high. And getting plus odds on the under, I think it's about a 50-50 shot.
Cease last year, 32% K percent. Really solid. Obviously, the walks aren't great at 9.8. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Tampa. And also the splits for Cease was interesting as far as lefties and righties, exactly the same. 32.2% strikeout lefties, 32.2% righties. And as far as this Tampa lineup, yeah, like you said, it's kind of all over the place. So Ronnie Rayner will strike out a good bit. Josh Lowe, like I get these confused. Brandon Lau, I think is it Josh Lau or I think it's Josh Lowe. There's like three different Lows, and there's Nate.
There's two Lows. There's a Low and a Lau on the same team.
Well, thankfully Nate is now in Texas. There's a whole bunch of them, but yeah, the lineup is officially out, and it's fine. It's for strikeouts, like you said.
Yeah, the lineup's officially out. Let me just update Plate IQ, our wonderful little tool, telling us all the numbers that we need. Plate IQ is literally the best thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, you know, we work for Roto Grinders, and like, you know, in theory, we should, I don't know, hype these. We're not told to hype this up, but like, I love the Plate IQ tool. It's my favorite tool to use. It's such a time saver. I still build like my Fangraph sheets because I like to look at all the names together and, like, you know, as a K rate, kind of, you know, sort them. But this is basically, it's kind of like essentially giving you Fangraphs right there, right in the Plate IQ, and then some, because it breaks everything down. And it's even color coded for dummies like me. Like, green is good, red is bad. Like, that's, you can't oversimplify that. You can't screw that up.
Yeah. And then I also bet the White Sox -2.5. Yeah. Even though I don't think Cease hits his strikeout upside, like, he's still the better pitcher by a decent margin. And Rasmussen, gives up a ton of hard contact, just a ton. 51% to righties last season, and you've got a lot of righties in this lineup. I know that is ISO in his role, but didn't really fully translate to that. But he also gets a little bit wild going up against righties. So, I mean, -2.5, getting it at plus.
What do you get, like 250, 300?
265. So,
all right, right there. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
and there's solid. Some poppers in that Chicago lineup all the way through, basically.
Yep. Earlier this morning, I bet Starling Marte over 1.5 total bases. He is up right now. Let's see if he can put this in play.
Let's do it. Let's see if we can get there on the line. Facing Zach Davies.
He's already 1 for 1, so just needs one more total base.
So is a single in the first?
Yeah, you got a single. So then I bet Detroit -1.5. I'm a big Skubal fan. Or Skubal. Skubal, I like to call him.
I believe it is Skubal. I think you had it correct the first time. There's certainly some talent there in Skubal's arm. You know, he's been kind of all over the place, hit and miss and whatever. But I'm okay with betting on Skubal. You're probably not going to get Baez in the lineup today. I think he was a late scratch yesterday, and I believe I saw a report that he's unlikely to play today as well.
Yeah. So like, lineup still isn't terrible. Like, they got Meadows in there. They got Scope, Candelario. Miggy's still a bat. Badu is solid. Tolkinson is a pretty solid overall bat. Barnhart, not a bad bat. Like, and Keller's not a good pitcher. Like, he's not good. He's got a decent slider, and that's kind of about it.
He doesn't miss bats, obviously. 20% K percent. Swinging strike rates at 9% as well, too. I believe he is a big ground ball guy, right? Yeah, 48% ground balls, 29% fly balls. As far as Keller last season, and doesn't yield a ton of homers, but like you said, doesn't miss a lot of bats, and I think his hard hit stuff is kind of high, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 44% hard hits last year, which is that's too much. You mentioned Rasmussen, and this is kind of like when I sort all my guys. Rasmussen, 50.2%. Like, he's a big, pretty big prospect. I like him going forward, but like he's been getting hit pretty hard so far in his short MLB career.
Ah, darn it. Starling Marte got out. Only have like 3 more at-bats for him to get there. Shooty shooters.
I have a couple homer picks for you.
Yeah.
I know you like the fire on guys hitting homers and that kind of thing. I think these are just a little bit, I don't get it. I know they changed the construction of Baltimore to some degree. Like, they make it a little bit trickier as far as hitting homers. But Stanton at plus 425 and Judge at plus 390, like, one of these guys is going to homer today. And, in Camden Yard.
Gosh.
I don't get, those lines seem a little bit off to me.
475 for Stanton at Caesars. That's
awesome.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw 425 at DK. I didn't dig in the Caesars, but
410 for Judge at Caesars. Yeah, I'm
hit both of those. Like, those are the two. It's just like, Didn't make any sense to me. They're facing Jordan Lyles. Jordan Lyles last year, pretty big sample, 185 innings, picks, just an innings eater. Dude gave up 1.9 homers per 9. That is a lot. That is too many. I don't understand. And of course, he's not missing bats. 18.7% strikeouts, and that right there is the problem with Stanton and Judge. Both those guys swing and miss a ton. Well, if you're not going to strike them out, you're in trouble. Wipeout sliders always get Stanton, it seems. Like, I don't think Lyles is a wipeout slider. I didn't understand those lines, just comparative to other guys. It just seems like you don't want to assume like one's going to do it. Like, but if one hits it, you're there. You're golden. And even better than what I had written down. Caesars is doing you some favors. Can you get how much can you actually get on that kind of prop?
Depends. Caesars, I'm kind of banned, so.
You try to bet it right now?
I mean, I'm betting it over at Judge over at DK and Stanton over at DK at slightly worse odds.
Yeah.
I'll stand over at Superbook, but I put the Caesars lines up here because it's for the people. It's for the people.
The people watching should hit that pretty good. I saw LeMahieu at 11-1, which I don't think he's going to hit a homer, but 11-1. Come on, 11-1, DJ LeMahieu. I hit that as well. I think that's a fine dart. They're hitting a couple homers today.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Through 100 on Judge, 200 on Stanton. I'm riding with you. You know who I like to home run today?
Who's that?
Mitch Garver.
So yeah, that's the funny thing. I did see that. I saw it written down there someplace. Oh, hold on a second. Buxton needs a pinch runner. Is he hurt already? Buxton got a double, and Gordon's running for him at second base. So he must have got hurt. Unbelievable. That's terrible. Yeah. I hope it's nothing serious because Buxton is. If this guy can just stay healthy one time, I'm curious now what if we can find something on Twitter about him. But it looks like he's out of the game. Yeah, he's out. He hurt his leg, according to Twitter.
Yeah, great. Not terrible for my.
He let out a loud scream on the way up. Might be his groin sliding into second base.
That's not good.
Yeah, that can't be good. Well, that's terrible.
Yeah, but back to lighter note. Garver's going to hit a bomb.
So I just thought that was interesting because I saw you drop it in the Action Lounge. I took a peek, right? And he was like plus 290. And I'm like, how is Mitch Garver plus 290? And Stanton and Judge are like, distinctly better odds.
So there's a reason for that. Is the Dome open today in Texas?
You have to follow this guy named John Blake. He is the Ranger Blake. John Blake, he's the executive vice president of public relations for the Rangers. And he'll tweet out every single day and let you know what color uniform the Rangers are wearing and if the roof is open or closed. And yesterday they said the roof is open, and I'm like, I can't be good for Ohtani. Whatever. You still think he's going to be great, but and I'm not saying that's the reason why he got smashed. But whenever the roof is open in Texas, it's just it's pretty hot in Texas, my understanding. Of course it wasn't scorching, otherwise they'd close it. But yeah, you want to check John Blake, Ranger Blake.
Just followed him,
and he'll let you know.
Yeah.
They haven't made a decision just yet. So yeah.
Yeah, I assume it's going to be open, but I mean Garver, first of all, is going up against Detmers, who's awful. Like against righties, 267 ISO, 47% fly ball rate, 37% hard contact rate, and Garver just always a guy that mashes lefties. Doesn't strike anyone out. Only sitting at 18.8%. Garver's going yard, plus 290. I like that one a lot.
Well, I would just say that the Detmers thing is really small sample stuff, and he is a prospect, but you're right to say he's given up a lot of homers in a small sample. Like last year, he only had 24 innings, 2.5 homers, which is a lot. Homer and the fly ball stuff wasn't even that crazy. Again, small sample stuff. Fly ball 47% of the time. But we did see Garver just annihilate lefties a couple years ago. Just is over the long track, pretty good against lefties. I just thought it was interesting that I understand it's different situations and all that kind of stuff, but how is Garver more likely to homer than Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton? You know what I mean? I just thought that was weird.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, against Lyles, that is kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I bet it. I bet it. It's that simple. There's some real American dollars on that Judge and Stanton.
I also like for stolen bases. I think Trey Turner is an interesting stolen base option. Vladimir Gutierrez gave up 14 stolen bases last year in 114 innings. Trey Turner is like 4-1. I'm trying to. I don't know if we can find
4.5 to 1 over at DK. 4.6 at Superbook.
Yeah, I like Trey Turner to swipe a bag today at those odds. I think that's pretty good. Gutierrez gave up a ton of stolen bases last year.
Yeah, I wonder what the bat has to say. Let's check it out.
I was looking at it, and that's kind of what put me on. I think is the bat. I think the bat liked it, or either that, or I was looking at the scores and odds stuff, and I'm not sure if there's a correlation with those two. They're probably looking at similar things. But you know how you could sort stuff on scores and odds? I went to steals and looked at like projected versus actual, and Trey Turner was one of the guys that had positive juice. If I can, yeah. So
Adalberto Mondesi sitting at plus 490. What do you think about that?
What? Who is he facing? What's the guy he's facing? What's the person? What's the pitcher? That's right. And of course the entire battery matters, and sometimes you just steal it off the catcher as well. And I don't know off the top of the head, like, you know, the catchers that are most vulnerable, least vulnerable. I'm just checking Scooball last year as far as how many stolen bases he gave up. Let's see, stolen bases. Trying to find this, and this is. Give me 1 second as I'm looking for it. And what does it have as far as the projection?
We have them projected at 0.34.
Why can't I not find this? It's under fielding. It's always kind of a tricky thing. Fielding. Oh, is it fielding or plate discipline? I think it's fielding, right? Okay, so last year, Scooball, or in his career, we could say 185 innings. He's given up 9 stolen bases. So that's, you know, a number. Some guys just give up like so few.
Yeah.
I don't know what his battery is, but okay. I don't. That doesn't alarm me. Like, it's like you gotta stay away. He'll yield a stolen base.
I mean, if he gets on, he's gonna run. Like plus 490. That's pretty solid. I just hit it for $100 on Super Draft, not Super Draft, Superbook. Let's see. Someone asking about the Reggie Jackson, Norman Powell props. Honestly, I'm on the unders on both of those. Powell sitting at 27.5. You can get a plus 110 on points, rebounds, assists. Over at Caesars, I'd hit the under on that.
I haven't had a chance to look at that. What's happened with the George being ruled out. 20. I was going to say, like, Powell looks like a good play, but 27.5 looks like the line has certainly adjusted. That is a big number.
Yeah.
He can do it, but that's
the under on Reggie Jackson rebounds looks pretty solid at plus 130 on the under at Caesars and MGM. Take the under on.
I see Powell projected as line being at 20.5 or 21.5. Are you sure it's 27?
Points, rebounds, assists.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's what's going on there. All right, because the points we're projecting the points over like 23 and a hook versus 20.5. So yeah, I kind of like the over on his points. I do like the over on his points. He's gonna get. Who's gonna get Herb Jones? It's probably gonna be Powell, right? Like Herb would have been on George, and Herb's their best lockdown defender, whatever you want to call it. Of course, you can only lock down so much, but he's a pretty solid defender, especially for a rookie. I assume Powell draws that assignment. Yeah, that's what makes sense to me, right?
Yeah, our projections like the over, but I'd roll with the under on Powell. Reggie Jackson, you can roll with the overs outside of rebounds. Yeah.
Okay, so the one that I like, shout out to Mike Gallagher on this one because he was talking about it. Listen to his Free Ball podcast. He's like, as far as NBA minds and NBA, I follow a lot of NBA stuff, and like he's absolutely one of the best. Worth listening to his stuff. Jonas Valanciunas has annihilated, pummeled, shellacked, whatever adjective of choice you want to use, the opposing center Ivica Zubac. So I think there's a chance we see a huge Jonas Valanciunas game in this game. Wouldn't surprise me. And also he's healthy. I think he played 36 minutes his last game. And we've seen his minutes kind of babied here and there. He was dealing with, I believe, a foot. But this is a do or die game, right? All or nothing.
Yeah, if I'm going to roll with that, I'm rolling with the over 19.5 at minus 104 on FanDuel.
I think, or if you want to do like I don't know other bets you can find on him or some kind of ladders on him. I could see like a huge, 22-18 kind of game at him or something like that. 22 is not even that huge, but you know what I mean. I think Valanciunas can really shine tonight.
Easy asking about Capella rebounds. It's sitting at 13.5, minus 122 on the over at FanDuel. I'm staying away from that line.
I don't really have a take on it, to be honest. Like, he was great last game. Good for him. I don't have a take. Allen's playing, by the way, for what it's worth. That can't help. I mean, it's not going to, like, all of a sudden Allen gets all the rebounds, but he's available to some degree. I imagine he'll be limited. It's a do-or-die game, obviously, for both these teams. And Jared Allen's
the Cavs could have been so good this year if they didn't have so many injuries.
Well, I mean, I think you can kind of sort of argue that, like, Sexton wasn't helping that team.
Oh, I wasn't talking about Sexton. I was talking about Rubio. Jared Allen, Mobley for a few games. Like, Rubio really hurt him.
Well, and again, if Rubio is healthy, they probably don't get LeVert. I'm guessing, but maybe.
Yeah, which I think Rubio was a better fit than LeVert and playing better than LeVert. But like Jared Allen being hurt caused them to go into the play because they were at the top of the East.
Hurt their defense. Yeah. Well, they also, I think they tumbled from they were at 1 or 2 for a while, or at least close to, and it's weird because, like, going into the season, if you told Cavs fans that you're going to be in the play-in nonsense, like, they would be like, "Oh, that's okay. I didn't expect that." But life is about expectations. Like, once you're 20 games in, like, wow, look at us. We're actually.
It wasn't 20. It was like 40 games in.
Whatever it was. Yeah. Same point.
At one point, they were about 40-1 to win the championship.
Yeah. I think do you have some futures on them?
Yeah, I do.
Funsies. Yeah.
No, not for funsies, to make money, because they were. I got them at like 150-1.
Yeah.
And they were like. And then 2 weeks later, they're number 1 in the East, and then just everyone got. I think they've had the most injuries out of any team in the league this year. Most games missed injuries.
Well, did you trust the Portland Blazers injury report? Some of their stuff was just like, let's just shut this guy
That was
down.
all towards the end of the season, so it might have changed.
I mean, Lillard's legit. Like, the Lillard thing was legit, and I don't know, like Hart may or may not have, but that was when it's all over. And Portland did an incredible job of tanking. Shout out to the Blazers. I think they lost like their last 10 or something like that. Like, good for them.
Who's the guy projected to go number 1 this year?
I don't know anything about college basketball, but I think it's either the guy for Duke or the guy for Gonzaga, assuming they come out. And that's all I got is the guy. I'm trying to remember their names. I don't watch college basketball.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to be the really tall skinny guy for Gonzaga, and the player for Duke is supposed to be pretty good, and I can't remember his name.
I watched half of one college basketball game this year.
Did you enjoy it?
It was the St. Peter's one against UNC where they got destroyed.
Did you bet the game? Is that why you watched it?
I did. Well, Andy, you want to see a 15 seed make it to the Final Four, so I was.
That was the guy with the stash on St. Peter's, I think. I saw this picture.
Yeah.
I think he had a stash, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it was Chet Holmgren for Gonzaga.
That's the guy. Mike Holmgren.
Banchero for Duke.
Is that 1-2? Is that the projected 1-2?
I had no idea.
Okay. But I think those are the guys. Like, at least 2. I don't even know if they've officially declared.
2022 mock draft. Let's see.
There's probably somebody
by the way,
in Europe that's good too. At least several somebody's.
Jabari Smith Jr. is projected to go number 1 for Auburn. According to this,
who's
Pablo Banchero number 2, and then Chet Holmgren number 3.
Did Jabari Smith Jr. have a father that was famous, or is he just some random dude? Let's see. His father played in the NBA for 4 seasons. Smith's distant cousin Kwame Brown was the number 1 overall pick as well.
That didn't turn out too well.
Well, I mean, he did fine. He did okay for himself, all things considered. But yeah, that's Michael Jordan, the GM for you.
Yeah, classic Michael Jordan. Yeah. Yeah, no. In any case, when draft stuff starts coming out, the thing you need to do is as soon as Meansy posts something, hammer it.
Oh yeah, you could. There are absolutely edges in that. Like I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of people profit, and the NFL as well too. I mean, I'm not the guy to be giving out the information, but yeah, there are absolutely edges for that. Pay attention. Like Meansy, you're right. He's posted about NBA draft stuff on Scores and Odds last year, and you'd think he'd be all over it again. So yeah,
he will be. I'm gonna max out every single bet he has. Just he knows his stuff.
I'm trying to think if I had anything else, any other bets that I liked today. That kind of, I was telling you before the show, I like the Mavericks +5 versus. I think they steal game one potentially. I know Luka's not playing, but for me, it's more of like and there's really no analytics to it. But I'm just betting against the Jazz and their terrible chemistry, and I know it's perceived, but it seems real. The whole Mitchell Rudy thing, and it wouldn't shock me, if they don't even get beyond round one. I know they're the big favorite now with the absence of Doncic, at least for the foreseeable future. Luka might make an appearance later on in the series. But I just think Utah loses, if not round one, round two. They've been kind of Utah's kind of been the Western Conference version of Cleveland. Not to the same degree, but kind of, sort of. They've kind of plummeted as the season progressed.
You want to make that our movie bet?
What do you mean?
I'll take the Jazz -5.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's fine. You gotta start giving me like better movies though, man. It's you're being mean.
Ah, gosh, let's think. What's one of my favorite?
Like, give me a movie that like I'm giving you like good movies that like, oh yeah, that was actually pretty good and I never saw it before. Thanks for that. And you're giving me nonsense just to screw with me.
Have you seen Matilda?
How is that your response?
Oh gosh.
Any other
I just pick an actor and
give me another Danny DeVito movie besides
Hercules. Have you seen the new Jumanji?
Oh, why would I see that? I haven't seen any Jumanji.
You haven't seen Jumanji? Okay, Jumanji is the answer. The original Jumanji.
No,
it's fantastic. Let's see if it meets the criteria. Let's see.
But Danny DeVito's not in Jumanji, is he?
He's in the second one.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if the audience loves Jumanji. Not high enough Rotten Tomato score.
Man, you're so.
Look, I go by Rotten Tomatoes. If it's over 80, then I can go with it. And Hercules is over 80.
What is Hercules? Like
Hercules is the animated series, and Danny DeVito is in it. It's
wait, it's an animated series. It's not even a movie.
It's a movie. Sorry, it's a Disney movie.
Why do you want to give me a Disney movie? You know I don't like Disney movies.
You can pick between that and Tarzan. You haven't seen any Disney movies.
Wait, Tarzan with Brandon Fraser?
I will gladly let you go with that, but or the Disney Tarzan movie. If you want to watch the one with Brendan Fraser, it's delightful. It's awful, but it's delightful. And I don't think it's Tarzan; it's actually George of the Jungle.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got my. They're in the same. They're like the same world, right? That's same umbrella. You're the world's biggest Brendan Fraser fan, and you're willing to concede that it's terrible. That's kind of a problem.
I loved it, but it's not good.
I mean, yeah, it's funny because what was the movie I was thinking about? Did we talk about this? The new Ben Affleck movie?
Ben Affleck, no.
With Ana de Armas, I think it's Ana de Armas, where he's getting like cuckold. it's not good.
That's not the Will Smith movie?
No, it's not. It's based on a true story. They didn't say who it was based on. Hey man, whatever you're into, man. If everybody's happy, have at it. But yeah, it's on the Hulu. It's a Hulu like original movie or something like that. And it's one, there's some movies, they call them guilty pleasures, I guess, right? But some people think they just like it because they like it. It's so bad, it's enjoyable, and like it makes some choices, and it's just
FYI,
like,
if you're watching this, we're probably done with sports stuff. Who knows what we're talking about anymore?
I want to. That's what I want you to watch. So like, I'm not saying it was good. I enjoyed it though because I enjoyed it because I embraced how bad it was. So that makes sense.
Is it called Deep Water?
Yes. Well, what do the critics say?
37%.
What does the audience say?
Rotten. 23%. That does not.
The audience hated it more.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that one's out.
Well, so why can't we drop the qualifier? Like, again, I understand it's not just like you're talking about this terrible.
I can drop the qualifier anytime. Do you think it's actually worth watching?
Yes, because you're gonna watch it and you're like, what? Like that? Well, that's a choice. And there's like, there's one scene I really want to talk about with you.
Aaron asking who the stolen base guy is. I got Mondesi.
I thought Trey Turner's kind of interesting for stolen bases. If you want to bet on bets, you're getting bigger odds. He hasn't tried to steal a base this year, I don't believe, and his stolen bases have gone down the last several years. I believe he had 10 last year. But if you want to throw that dart, I don't hate it. I think you got him like at 7-1 or 8-1. What's bets at? It's a big number.
Let's see, bets.
Maybe 6, 7, 8-1 or something like
7-1 over at DK.
Yeah, I don't hate that. But I think Turner is the one that's more. Obviously, the line adjusts accordingly. But Gutierrez has given up 14 stolen bases last year. It's a pretty good number. So I don't mind. I don't mind some Turner. And if you want to be a little bit ambitious, I don't mind Betts getting his first steal of the season. But the deep water thing, you have to. There's got to be some kind of guilty pleasure. I don't want to make like a Real Housewives comp or whatever. Like you have to. Most people I think acknowledge like the Real Housewives thing it's nonsense. But like you enjoy it for some people.
Bobby Sue loves Real Housewives. Okay.
Yeah. So, and do you ever like watch it with her, or you get?
I watched the Salt Lake City one because did you ever hear about so there was this one woman who was in charge of the church.
Okay.
She died, and in her will, she put that her husband doesn't get anything unless he marries one of her grandchildren.
Wait, what? The husband's got to marry one of their grandchildren?
Yep. So he married one of the grandchildren.
Okay. And
she's in her 30s. So
yeah.
But still, yeah. So she's married to her grandpa.
All right.
And then you have all the
willingly though, like she was into it.
Yeah, I guess they're still together. And then you have all the Mormon versus non-Mormon drama, drinking and partying because that's what Real Housewives do.
That Andy Cohen, by the way, a billionaire because how many different housewives offshoot? There's Atlanta. There's
Poconos, Beverly Hills. Yeah.
Every single franchise is like worth, and it's good. Shout out to Andy
Jersey, Cohen. Miami, Atlanta, New York,
and then they have I think they have specials where they kind of merge them in some degree. Everybody has somebody in their life that kind of it keeps them in the abreast of the what's going on in some of the housewives nonsense. But yeah, that would be like a guilty pleasure. Like, does Bobby Sue know it's trash? Like she still enjoys it. No, it's like trash TV.
No. A lot of people actually believe that it's not trash TV. It's really well done. Like it's just a beautiful Shakespearean level play of ridiculousness.
I mean, I guess it's it's subjective, or how you want to call it, subjective or objective, however you want to call it. But okay, fair enough. But just like I guess any sort of reality show, that reality in air quotes, obviously, to various degrees. Oh, you want to jump out of a plane? Guess what? I know a guy who has a plane. Let's go. Look at that start of the episode.
Yeah. Bobby Sue always makes me watch a lot of them with I watched Summer House this year, which
is that like an MTV one or what is that?
No, that is all Bravo, and Bravo it's just these kids that I think it originally started Summer House. So during the summer you rent a house in the Hamptons, and they would go up there every single weekend and just party every weekend. And they had full-time jobs, working in I don't know, private equity or stock market or something like that.
There's one that films in South Carolina. Is it South Carolina?
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, what's that called?
My brother's business. They filmed in my brother's business. They had to clear the plate. I don't think they used it. I never got back to him on it if he actually ever made the show. But they were
Southern Charm.
That's it. Southern Charm. Yeah, Southern Charm was in his business, and I think they were renting a place out, or so. He does rentals for parties and stuff. But I don't know. I never checked back if he ever made the show, but yeah, and apparently that's a popular one. I think Southern Charm's fairly popular. But yeah, I don't know. There's so much. We have so many channels. There's so many options, and as much as I think it's trash, whatever. If you enjoy it, have at it. And also like people work long hours, 9 to 5. They're stressed out with things in their lives to various degrees. If this is something that helps you just sort of turn your brain off and relax for an hour, whatever, man, have at it.
Some people love it. Some people love it.
That's probably what it does, right? I assume you just kick back and you don't you don't have to figure out it's I don't know what to say simple, but it's an easy watch, I imagine. I don't watch a lot of them, or any of them, so I don't know.
I generally don't, but
I catch shrapnel here and there, but I don't seek it out.
Yep. All right. Well, we should probably get on out of here.
You gotta watch some Southern Charm.
I gotta order like $3,000 of wood for my deck.
Imagine telling your like 16-year-old self you're gonna spend like thousands of dollars on wood. It's like, what am I doing? But you got the decks. It's not gonna build itself, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you build it? Are you gonna hire a guy?
I got my neighbor is a contractor.
Oh, look at you.
Yep. So we gotta get out of here. Daniel,
yeah. Was this a productive show?
I think so. I mean, we hit out some winners. Even you had some with Stanton and Judge. We'll see. Or they're losers. Who knows? But yeah, again, guys, go check out Scores and Odds. Go to scoresandodds.com/Discord. Get signed up for Grant's Action Lounge. I'm gonna just be hammering in some winners there all the live long day.
Thanks for having me. Was I supposed to say something?
Nope, that's it. See you, kids.
Holler.